Wayno finally snapped on Dave East and made it clear where he stands. This situation had been building for a long time because every time Wayno sat down for an interview and someone brought up Dave East, especially during that Vlad TV moment, he kept it respectful. He moved carefully, avoided going too far, and tried not to turn it into something messy. But even with that, it was obvious there was tension sitting under the surface. These two were not cool anymore, and whatever happened between them clearly did not end on good terms. Wayno felt like he handled everything the right way, keeping things calm and not putting Dave East in a bad position publicly. But then, after that interview dropped, Dave East allegedly reached out trying to question what was said and how it was said.
What ultimately happened with that relationship?
I mean, by the time Paranoia came out, I was like, we weren't working together anymore.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, we was having our differences. You know what I mean? Like, we was having our differences because it was like, you know, it just was certain things that I just didn't want to be around. Like at that time, Dave had a lot of homies. You know what I mean? He went through what every rapper go through. You know what I mean? You got 100 people. It was 4 people. Then it's 10 people. Then it's 20 people. Then it's more people than you could count. We had a situation one time where I got frustrated. I kicked everybody out the studio because we really needed to focus on making this project, and we just was having differences, man. It was this one situation. It's funny because I mean, Dave don't talk about nothing with me. You know what I'm saying? And I respect it, but it's still a story, and it's still our story. You feel me? It's like I can't tell my story even to how I'm here today without him being in the chapter, and vice versa. But it was one point where we was working on Paranoid. We was spending a lot of money in the studio, and for me, doing management, I had a tendency to kind of A&R my artists when I managed them. So it's like, I'm not only managing you, I might help you get a feature, or I might come to the table with an idea for a record. So I gave him a couple of ideas for some records and shit, and he went to the studio. And then when I came to the studio, I got there, and it was a party. It's a bunch of people. They not doing nothing. They just around, and none of these people were a part of like the core 10 that's together when we're on the road. Like, it's different than the people that's at his house, that's around him, and when we on the road, I kicked everybody out. I said everybody. Like I told everybody get out. And then he was recording or something. I went off on a lot of his friends because I'm telling them like, yo, y'all just let him do anything. Like, y'all let him do whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know if that might have bothered Dave. It was another time where because I started my management company and I was turning it into a label, I had other artists, but I had called a meeting between all the producers I have, the artists I have, and it was for everybody to have a conversation. Like, yo, listen, Dave is on, like, I got Dave, he's doing this, but I wanted everybody to come together to say, well, listen, y'all seen what we just did with his deal, y'all need to get on y'all shit so we could get y'all some deals. And Dave had found out I was having this meeting. So when he found out I was having a meeting, I didn't invite him because he never used to come to places on time. So I didn't want to be waiting for the meeting to start and he's not there. So I'm like, you know, he could fall back from this because he was going to be my partner in my label. He ends up coming to the studio, he sits down, and he's upset that I didn't bring him to the meeting, but the meeting wasn't even about him. The meeting was for everybody to get their shit together. But I didn't see no reason for him to be here, you know? And it was nothing to slight him or nothing, but he was upset about that. He was really upset about that. So we started having these differences, you know what I mean? We started having these differences, and ultimately it led to him firing me.
That is where things shifted. Wayno took that as disrespect, like after all the times he showed restraint, now he is getting checked anyway. To him, that came off ungrateful, like nothing he did to keep it respectful even mattered in the end. At that point, the line was drawn. What started as quiet tension turned into something direct, because now Wayno felt there was no reason to keep protecting someone who clearly did not appreciate it. That relationship did not just fade out, it cracked under pressure and finally broke when communication turned into control instead of respect.
Yeah. Now, you had a big impact managing Davey's career, you know what I'm saying? It's people have spoke on like how hard you were going. People say you went overboard, you know, for that situation there.
Yeah.
Looking back at it now, right? Is there anything that you feel like you would have done differently when it came to that management situation?
I would have kept it more business than personal.
Yeah, you had your heart in it, you mean?
I would have kept it way more, no, just my relationship with him.
Mm-hmm.
I would have kept it way more business than personal, because I'm gonna keep it 100, bro. I don't have no relationship with Davies at all.
Zero.
No, we don't have no relationship. And just most recently when I did Vlad's interview, when I spoke about him, one thing, call me whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't a liar.
Mm-hmm.
That's two things I'm not. I'm not a liar. So when I spoke about him, he hit me and he was like, all that. And I'm like, oh, what?
Mm-hmm.
Me telling the truth about like my experience with you? I didn't throw you under the bus, which I really can.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what camera looking at me, but yeah, I could throw you under the bus. But I didn't do that. And I don't like, The thing is like with this rap, respect the white man way more. You wanna know why? Because the white man don't get personal with you. The white man don't let you in his home and let you be around his kids. The white man don't tell you how he feel about you personally or share personal things with you. And when you do that with it, get that. And then when they forget that, you forget the foundation of what it was that we built. So yeah, we don't have no relationship, and I don't even kid our relationship with that. You know what I mean? Because end of the day, I put in a lot of time for this. You know what I mean? A lot of time as far as work, resources. You know what I mean? Because I cared. It was two things. It was one was this. I was doing management. I had a couple of artists that I worked with that it didn't work.
Dave East still was not satisfied with that response, and that is where it gets strange. From the outside, Wayno handled it as clean as possible, kept it respectful, and avoided turning it into a public issue. But even with that approach, Dave East allegedly still had a problem, which pushed things into a different space. At that point, Wayno basically said, "All right, bet," and mentally switched gears. If being respectful was still getting questioned, then there was no reason to keep holding back anymore. Wayno made it clear to himself right there, if anybody asked him about Dave East again, he is not filtering anything, and that is exactly how it played out. The very next interview after that situation, Wayno finally spoke openly, no more careful wording, no more soft answers. He gave his side fully, and you could feel the shift immediately. The tone was different. The energy was different, and the frustration was obvious just from how he was speaking. Watching that moment unfold says a lot about how quickly things can turn when communication breaks down. You could hear it in his voice, that buildup of irritation finally coming out. Situations like this show why dealing with artists on that level can get complicated fast, because even when you move carefully, it can still come back around in a negative way. And hearing all of that, you start to understand why some people completely avoid that role. Those same frustrations, that same tension, that same feeling of doing everything right and still getting questioned, that is exactly why he turns down every request. Artists keep reaching out, trying to get management, saying they are next up, saying they are close to a deal, but the answer stays the same. No interest, no involvement, no matter how good it looks on the surface. The reasoning behind that decision is blunt and not dressed up at all. The mindset he describes is that a lot of rappers move with ego first, always putting themselves at the center of everything. From that perspective, it creates a situation where loyalty becomes conditional. You can invest time, money, relationships, and real effort into building something from nothing, believing in the long-term vision, only for things to flip the moment success shows up. That shift is what turns the whole situation unstable.
And then I had one that I was like, all right, if I could get one to work, it's gonna grant opportunity, not just for me, but for whomever that is. And I could really build something off of that. And we built some real and at the point where we built some real that selfish is what crumbled everything. You know what I mean? I know like this is the first time I'm even speaking about this, and I don't mind speaking about it because I will speak about it more in detail on my platform if I feel that way. But I'm not gonna sit here and lie every time a name come up and they say, oh, what happened? Oh no, you know, we just had our differences and we walked away. If you know me and my wife was together for mad long and you couldn't see we was inseparable at one time, and then one day we not together no more, and I say, yo, you say what happened? I say we grew apart. You're gonna accept that at the moment. But you're gonna say, nah, it's not just that. You know what I mean? Like that ain't just what happened. And the thing with, you know, with me and him was there was good times. There was very, very good times, but I can't talk about the good times without talking about the bad times because they're a product of one another.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna sit here, oh no, he never fired. Yeah, that fired me. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat it to make his image look better. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm cool on all these rap, bro, for real. The ones I got respect for know it, and the ones that don't, it is what it is.
Situations like that put a bad taste in your mouth for rappers, period.
Not necessarily. A lot of them have common traits. I think creatives, at one point or another, especially when they don't understand businesses, this is not about dude, I'm just saying, period. Right. Creatives have a problem with people monetizing their work. So if it's cool when give you a check. But then when I gave you a check, I want some back. I'm the one that made, you know what I mean? Like I made this. And I wish, bro, as an independent media personality, I really wish that, not wish necessarily, but you know how great it would be to have a person come to me and say, Wayno, I got a lot of resources, I got a lot of relationships. What you're doing is cool, but I can help you get to another level. And I'm gonna give you that, and all I want is a piece of that, a piece of what you get. That's more than enough for me, because I know what it takes. See, a lot of these, when you're not with them or around them, they don't think that you're doing anything.
Right.
They don't think that you have any value, and only a person that doesn't see the value in themselves wholeheartedly can't see the value in another person. You know what I mean? Like
fire.
I value myself, and I know what I put into what it is I do. So the people who try to help me do something, I value their time. I value their commitment. I don't give a just making a phone call, a text message, an email to tell somebody about what it is I'm doing or to bridge that gap a little bit further. I value that. But when you don't value a person, you can't, all I am is a dollar sign to you.
Right.
And why am I getting what I'm getting? You feel me?
know, shout out to my brother Danza.
That's my dog. What?
I told him I was coming to do your interview, and he's like, yo, Fred, he a solid dude.
Because once the artist reaches that level, the same person who was supported from day one can suddenly start questioning everything, asking what was really done for them, challenging percentages, acting like the journey was a solo mission. That disconnect is what leaves people feeling used. History shows it over and over. Relationships break apart right after success hits, and the people who helped build the foundation are no longer around. It is a pattern that keeps repeating, and it explains why some choose to never step into that position at all. And when you look at how these situations usually play out, it starts making more sense why that frustration is still there. The pattern is familiar. People build something together. Success starts forming, and then suddenly, they are not even standing next to each other anymore. From Wayno's point of view, this was not just a casual situation. He had plans lined up, real structure in place, and Dave East was a key part of that whole setup. This was not random. This was something being built step by step into something bigger. The way it is described, Dave East was not just another artist, he was a major piece of the foundation. The idea was to take that momentum and stack more on top of it, turning it into something serious, something that could compete at a higher level. That foundation was supposed to lead into expansion, into bigger moves, into something that looked more like a full operation rather than just one success story. But right when things were about to level up, everything shifted, and that progress came to a stop. From Wayno's side, it feels like that moment is where everything broke down. The vision did not collapse on its own, it was disrupted, and that is why the frustration still lingers. When something that close to success falls apart, people do not just forget it. And when it comes to how Wayno carries himself, the reputation around him is clear. He is not known for random conflict, so when things turn tense, many people see it as a reaction, not a starting point. That is why in situations like this, attention always shifts to what really happened behind the scenes. Wayno is not someone people usually see in the middle of problems, and that is what makes this stand out. His reputation has always been calm, respectful, and grounded. He moves like a family man, someone who takes his beliefs seriously and actually lives by them, not just talks about them. The way people describe him, he leads with principles, keeps things level, and does not go looking for conflict. That kind of personality usually stays out of messy situations, which is why this shift is getting attention. At the same time, being calm does not mean being silent forever. Wayno has always had opinions, but for a long time he chose to hold them back. Working in media, he felt like he had to protect relationships, especially with artists, so he would filter what he said and keep certain thoughts to himself. That balancing act started to affect how he showed up on platforms like Everyday Struggle and other appearances, because he was not speaking as freely as he could have been. Now that perspective has changed. He has started to realize that trying to protect those relationships did not always come back the same way. From his point of view, some of those connections were not as genuine as they seemed. So instead of holding back, he is choosing to speak openly and say exactly how he feels. The key difference is that he frames it as honesty, not personal attacks. But the tone is still stronger because there is no more filtering behind it. At the end of the day, this all falls under media, and that comes with opinions flying both ways. Wayno is in a space where speaking on people is part of the job, and the same rules apply back to him. Nobody is off limits, and that is just how this environment works. But what makes this situation interesting is how one side is being very vocal, while the other side has stayed mostly quiet through all of it. Dave East, for whatever reason, has not stepped forward to really address this head on. There have even been claims that attempts were made to get him into an interview setting to speak on it, but those moments never fully happened. At one point, it was even said there were cancellations and confusion around scheduling, which only added more questions to the situation instead of clearing anything up. Now it comes down to how people see it, who handled this the right way, and who let things fall apart. One side is speaking freely, the other side is staying silent, and that contrast is what has everybody watching closely right now. Drop your thoughts below, pick a side, and make sure you tap in with the channel for more updates like this.